Yes, people. What's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today is going to be an Arsenal Liverpool preview, and we're gonna get into everything. Why do I have West Ham? Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it on this one for now. But yeah, it is an Arsenal Liverpool preview. We're gonna have Hussam on. We're gonna have Mons on. We're gonna, of course, have Gunnar Souls on. But before we go any further, make sure you guys do hit that like button. Let me know what your score predictions are for the game in the comment section if you're watching this on the playback or if you're watching live. And of course, we're going to get into all the latest news around the game. Of course, Thiago Alcantara is going to be fit for Liverpool, where Thomas Partey for Arsenal is going to be injured. We're going to get into that. Plus, there's a little bit more going on. So we're going to get into all of that. Hussam's running a little late, and Mons is also. But before we go any further, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And just to let you guys know, there is a tournament going on. It's called the AFCON. If you are missing out on the AFCON and you have not been keeping up to date on what's going on, you need to download the SOFASCORE app and make sure you are aware of what's going on with those games. The link is in the description to download the SOFASCORE app. The AFCON is probably one of the most entertaining tournaments I've watched in a while, and I just seen Ivory Coast down to 10 men in the 90th and the 120th minute score 2 goals to win the game to go through to the next round. The same team that just loaned a coach from the French women's national team. So it is insane. And yeah, anybody watching right now, let me know where you guys watching from also and how you guys are feeling going into this game against Liverpool, because I'm kind of nervous at this moment in time. I'm very nervous, and I just need to get it over. I just need the game to start, because going into this game, there's a lot of nerves. This is the game of the season for Arsenal Football Club. And yeah, Souls, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm good. You want me to get into thoughts or?
No. We're gonna go straight into Thomas Partey news quickly, because that definitely put a negative spin on the weekend for me. That put a negative spin on the whole, because I wasn't expecting Thomas Partey to be starting, but bro, it's like he's always injured. It's so annoying.
I mean, that's the problem. Like, I think people get confused with what we're trying to say. I don't want to sell him because I don't think he's good enough. I want to sell him because his availability sucks. And I think that's where the confusion comes in when Thomas Partey does return and he puts in an absolute masterclass. That's not my problem. My problem is games like this, games like Man City. Okay, he played in the Community Shield, but there are games where he has missed, like major games, even like some of the Spurs North London derbies that we've played. And this is where it becomes a problem. Look, can we hands on heart say going into a season Thomas Partey is going to be reliable? The answer to everyone's going to be no. And that's where it becomes a problem. Do you know when it's like Granit Xhaka, for example, we could go into a season knowing the likelihood is he's not going to get injured. Whereas with Thomas Partey, it's when is he going to get injured? And that's the worry that we have. It's the same with Kieran Tierney. It's the same with many of some of the players we've gotten rid of recently as well. So I feel like that's where people need to understand. It's not, I don't want to sell Partey, but I feel like it's becoming a conversation where we need to sort of move on, because the club don't seem to want to replace him until he's sold. So if we can sell him and bring a profile in of a Thomas Partey, I feel like that's when we move forward. But it's disappointing, man, because we need it, even if it's like you said, off the bench, even if it's a case of he gets 15, 20 minutes, even if it's a case of he starts but only plays like 45 to maybe 50 minutes to help us at least start the game and control the game and potentially even take a lead in the game. So I don't know, man. It's becoming a concern, and a massive concern at that as well.
Listen, to me, Thomas Partey at this point should not be even considered part of the squad. You should just consider him as if he shows up, wow, surprise. Because I don't think he's going to play much from now to the end of the season, because he's just too injury prone. He's constantly unavailable. He's a liability, and at this moment in time, the club should have looked at selling him in the summer merely because of the fact that he's not reliable. Going forward, I don't think Arteta is going to make that same mistake. And this is one of the major reasons why we invested so much money in Declan Rice, is because Thomas Partey's lack of availability and constant injuries and niggles that he picks up has caused us to say, you know what, we cannot trust him. He's untrustworthy. And Liverpool have someone similar to that in Thiago Alcantara. But guess what? He's now available for Liverpool. So you're telling me, I don't know what type of injury Thiago Alcantara had, but Thiago is back already. Where for Arsenal, what are we gonna say, man? Are we gonna see Thomas Partey this season?
I mean, they're saying it's a different type of injury that he's got, so it's becoming a bit more concerning. It's like, what is the injury? Why is it happening? And we've not seemed to be able to figure it out since he's been at the club. You know, we've known him to be quite injury prone since joining. Prior to him joining, he's never had this many sort of exclusions for, especially not for injury reasons anyway. Maybe suspensions and stuff, but nothing to do with his fitness or anything. So we need to figure out why this is happening. But I feel like it's so late in his career. He's over the age of like 30, 31 now. So is it a case of we just cut our losses and go, okay, let's just try and get what fee we can and replace him? Because even if you look at the comments at Declan Rice or the comments that were coming out, that Declan Rice has been training as a sole six and actually learning the role, and he's willing to play any part, that kind of gives a bigger indication that I feel like even Arsenal are losing a bit of hope that Thomas Partey can come in and that they may have to settle with Declan Rice becoming the pure six or a lone six in the system. And that's the indication I'm getting right now.
Yeah, we need to just get rid of him as soon as possible once the season's over. I fully agree with James Russell here. People in the comment section, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section. Is there really any selection headaches going into this game? I think it's pretty straightforward.
I feel like
You're gonna play.
ESR.
You're gonna play Zinchenko because Tomiyasu's not back yet, and
Yeah, I'd say
Timber's
the
not.
only position is midfield. I think that can be a debate.
I don't think you play ESR in this game. I think Kai Havertz starts.
Interesting.
But
Why would you start him over
I
ESR?
think Kai Havertz starts solely because of his defensive attributes. I'm not looking at him from the perspective of his offensive attributes. I'm looking at Kai Havertz and I'm saying to myself, the reason why he starts first Liverpool would be because of his defensive duels and his ability to be part of that midfield and get himself about. I know Emil Smith Rowe might be better offensively, but to me, I am playing thing based on his ability defensively, and in that aspect, I think I think Kai Havertz is better than Emil Smith Rowe.
If that's what you're looking for, you play Jorginho and Rice. You wouldn't play Kai Havertz. But for me, the reason why I'm leaning towards an ESR is more due to the fact that this is the first time I've seen the left-hand side actually flow. And the reason behind that is ESR's movement and the ability to kind of call for the ball and on the half turns as well is what's allowed us to kind of unlock teams, especially like Nottingham Forest, for example. And I feel like that's the potency that we're going to need. Now, with Kai Havertz, the problem with him is we don't really know which Kai Havertz is going to turn up. Is it going to be a case of does he take his chances? Or is it going to be a case of Kai Havertz, who's been quite wasteful with some of his opportunities? I understand the defensive elements and, that argument. But if that's what you're looking for is more defensive stability and control, I'd rather play Jorginho and Rice than play Kai Havertz for that sole reason.
So you would rather play Jorginho if we're looking for control?
For me, it's ESR, Jorginho, then Kai Havertz. The reason why is I feel like Kai Havertz off the bench would be better in this game.
Regardless, I don't see ESR starting this game.
That's
I think he started in the last game because he wanted to make some rotation in the squad. I don't think ESR starts in this game. I'm not saying Liverpool's midfield is the best midfield in the league or anything like that, but at this moment in time, Liverpool offensively are going to be a much more of a threat than what Crystal Palace had to offer. So that's why or Nottingham Forest or anything like that. So that's why I think he made those changes in those games. Where in this game, we're going to see Kai Havertz back in, and I think Kai Havertz gives us the most balance for our attack and our defending, where Jorginho gives us more control. I think ESR gives us more of an attacking threat.
If that's the case, then you have to drop Martinelli and play Trossard. That's the only way it works.
So you play Trossard and Havertz together?
Yeah, that's where I feel like the left-hand side has more balance. If you want to play someone like Martinelli, it's got to be someone like Declan Rice coming in or someone like ESR. I feel like that's where the combinations are better. Martinelli is stifled by Havertz's involvement and what he can do, because you got to understand, like, Martinelli thrives on forward passes, and Havertz at the moment is still learning that role and learning that element of his game in terms of making the weighted passes a lot more effective and a lot more consistent. And that's what's going to turn Martinelli into a non-threat in a game like this. So the partnerships that we talk about is, for me, is why I want someone who is going to complement Martinelli rather than maybe take away from his game. And that's the reason why I personally don't want to play Havertz, and I'd rather see Jorginho rise for that balance, or bring ESR in if you want to go for a more of an attacker. Because don't forget, the last time we played, our biggest downfall was taking our chances. For me, ESR is more likely to score than Havertz with less chances.
Okay, I'm looking at SOFASCORE right now. They're predicting that we're going to actually go with a lineup with Emil Smith-Rowe in the lineup, and they're predicting that Liverpool are going to go with a lineup with Darwin Núñez, Diaz, Jota up top, midfield of Curtis Jones, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Back four will probably be the same, but there's also a shout for Connor Bradley to be starting for Liverpool. So we're going to have to find out what the Liverpool boys think when they come on about that. But looking at this Arsenal team, the only change I would make is Emil Smith-Rowe. I don't think Emil Smith-Rowe starts. I think they're probably keeping this. This is the same team that played versus Nottingham Forest, right? So
Yeah.
they're probably giving
Yeah.
us the same lineup. But I would make that change. But you're saying the change from Emil Smith-Rowe also dictates who plays in front of that position.
Yeah, personally, I mean, the thing is with Martinelli, because he wants to drift inside, that's why Kai Havertz likes to occupy as well. So we get two players who conflict in the
Connor Bradley
areas.
won't start, they're saying. So who would you guys start? You don't think Connor Bradley plays, guys? Let me know.
But
Anyways, continue.
didn't Klopp say like he's really impressed with him? And
Oh, wow. Unfortunate to hear that, honestly. Condolences to his
okay.
family. Apparently, Connor Bradley's father passed away today, so I don't see him playing. Yeah, that
Okay,
would
that
definitely
changes things. Okay,
that definitely means he's not going to be in the picture for that game. And honestly, condolences to his family. That is harsh. That is hard, man, to deal with. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's not playing off the back of that news. Wow. But yeah, just trying to bring it back to the Liverpool game quickly. What do you think, man? Talk to me.
I mean, I mean, just on the basis of lineups and stuff like that, the one thing that we need to take advantage of is the fact that, Salah isn't playing, and the fact that Robertson is 50-50. I know he's been coming off the bench a few times, but we need to take advantage of those two areas. And the battle that I want to see is a Martinelli and Trent, because Trent, by the way, is a superb player. This isn't me kind of bashing him, but we know defensively that's where he's not great. It's a bit like Zinchenko.
Then
Zinchenko's brilliant.
Kanate has been such a beast also.
No, but this is why, like, we need that sort of wide support from the likes of Zinchenko or whoever plays in the left eight to try and occupy Konate. That's why I want ESR. ESR makes more sense to me than Havertz does, because of he's going to occupy Konate. Konate is not going to deal with Martinelli. If he does, then it's going to release another player.
Let me stop you there. We have over 103 of you guys watching on YouTube and everybody watching on the other platforms. Welcome to our match preview for the Arsenal Liverpool game. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It's absolutely free. And if you guys want to know why SofaScore is up here, they're the title sponsor. You guys can download their app. But before we go any further, let me know your score predictions, people, and what do you think the weaknesses and the strengths of this lineup is? Because to me, the weakness in the Liverpool lineup, if I can't really pick out a weakness in their defense at this moment in time, even though Joe Gomez is playing on that left back position. Because Bukayo Saka is so strong on his left foot, it might actually suit them having Joe Gomez there, because Bukayo Saka does like to cut in a lot. You also have we've seen Mikel Arteta do a similar thing with Tomiyasu in the past. You also have Trent versus you can talk about Trent versus Gabriel Martinelli as much as you want, but the reality is Konate is there, and Konate is a really good defender also, so he can stop what he's doing. I think where Liverpool have their weakest point in their attack, that is where they're going to be the weakest. I think Jota is clinical, but Darwin Núñez is the guy who I'm looking at. Darwin Núñez is the kind of player who could bag a hat trick and also miss a hat trick of goals in a single game. That's just how he is as a player. So if Liverpool have their shooting boots on the night, we're done for. But if we play a similar game to the way we played against them the last time when we lost, but this time we're the one that takes our chances and they miss their chances, it could be completely flipped on his head, because we were dominant in that game. We dominated that game. They just took their chances better than us. And with no Mo Salah, they still beat us that game. So it obviously is demoralizing. But right now, I'm a little bit more confident off the back of rewatching the highlights from that game and just rewatching the game yesterday, because I did see the fact that we're winning the ball high up the pitch. We're chipping the ball off their midfield. Their midfield is going to be a lot stronger in this game. Dominic Szoboszlai and if I'm not mistaken, Dominic Szoboszlai and McAllister didn't play in the last game. Am I wrong?
No, I don't know about McAllister, but Szoboszlai was definitely injured. I think Van Dijk didn't play either.
If I'm not mistaken, that game, the last game that we played, the midfield three for that game was was Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, and McAllister. So yeah, Szoboszlai didn't play. So I expect that side with Szoboszlai to be very good defensively, because Szoboszlai helps out massively with Trent. And Curtis Jones also puts in a good shift. But we are going to have to try to nip the ball off one of them to force them into errors to get to their defenders. And don't forget, last game, Quanta played, not Van Dijk. So of course you don't have that quarterback, that player in the back line who's keeping everything calm, cool, collected for Liverpool. So to expect a similar performance to how we played in the last game is going to be a false comparison because of the difference in personnel. But Arsenal played a very strong team in that game, and I need us to be more clinical in that final third. The team, it doesn't matter if we get 15 chances and Liverpool get 2. Liverpool are much more clinical than us. So we need to calm down when we're in the final third, relax, and take our chances when they come. And if the chance falls to Jota, best believe we have to be ushering Jota off the ball. Out of that front three, the person who I don't want getting chances is Jota. We need Zinchenko, Gabriel, and whoever is playing as the left 8 to keep that side. They need to monitor that side of the pitch. Can you see my mic? This side of the pitch needs to be monitored, because this side of the pitch is going to hurt us the most. That right side is going to destroy us. Jota, Szoboszlai, Trent all can contribute with goals. The left side, I'm not too worried about. I'm not looking at Curtis Jones and Joe Gomez as threats to our attack as much as I'm looking at the other side. So in this game, what are we going to do? Are we going to play Zinchenko? Because that is going to be a weakness. Would you consider starting KVR in this game?
No, not Kiwior. I mean, this is where it's annoying that Timbers and Tomiyasu aren't a bit. Well, Tomiyasu, I know, is coming back, but he's not going to be available for this game. And he would have been perfect to play, especially in the beginning. And then later on in the game, yes, you can bring Zinchenko on. But I wouldn't say it's a weakness necessarily, depending on who plays in the left 8. That's why Jorginho might actually be an option, and then put Declan Rice in the left 8 and just control the game as long as you can, keep it low scoring, maybe even nick a 1-0 into half time, and then you can bring on your expansive players. I mean, there's possibility what Arteta can do to kind of rectify the Zinchenko problem, if that's what you want to call it. But Gabriel this season has been magnificent in terms of covering for Zinchenko and actually being the leader in that back four. So we just need them to be solid on game, Saliba not to be making mistakes, and we just can't have lapses. That's all. David Ray's distribution needs to be on point. He can't do none of his stupidness where he passes it to another player. As long as we can keep solid and just concentrated in the back line and just play Declan Rice probably a little bit deeper in this game, we can do with Zinchenko playing.
Okay. Their biggest threat is going to be Jota, right? We know that. What is our biggest threat? I'm looking at our biggest threat to be actually Gabriel Martinelli and Odegaard. I'm not even looking at Saka as the biggest threat in this game, because Odegaard is going to have to find that half space in front of the defense and behind the midfield, just in that pocket when he can to try to score those goals. Because there's going to be cutback opportunities. There's going to be opportunities where our wingers are going to be able to find Martin Odegaard in space. It's just in that Liverpool game, the first time when we played, he couldn't capitalize on those goals. What do you think? Who do you think is going to be our biggest threats?
Do you know what?
We've already mentioned Martinelli, so try to avoid mentioning Martinelli.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Smith Rowe. I think he's going to be the key to this game.
I don't think he even starts, bro.
I think he does. I think it's a logical thing to do to start Smith Rowe in this game.
Okay, explain.
right? The reason why I say is, like you mentioned before, Konate will come and cover for Trent, which is what we don't want to do. So how do you mitigate that from happening? You need to have one of your midfielders occupying the defenders, or even your centre forward. But we know Gabriel Jesus is going to go deep. And when you look at someone like Smith Rowe's movement, even prior to his injury, come to Nottingham Forest and the other games that we have seen him cameo in, the one thing that he does really well is occupy the centre backs. He makes them think again, so they can't go as wide. They can't then double team a Martinelli. They can't double team a Saka because they've got him to worry about now as well. The way he makes an overload is far better than the way Kai Havertz does it, because not only is he a demanding player in terms of give me the ball, let me make something happen, he's got multiple avenues of threats. And that's gonna play on the likes of Konate, that's gonna play on the likes of Van Dijk, allowing Martinelli more space and freedom to do what he wants to do. That's why I say he's a threat. Not necessarily he's going to be the guy who scores the goals, but he's going to be the ones occupying these defenders and making them question themselves for a second time rather than going out wide. And if they do give Smith Rowe a chance, even a half a chance, the likelihood is he scores. So that's the reason why I say that left eight has to be Smith Rowe in this game.
Interesting. But aren't you worried about, so you would play this exact same team?
Yeah. That's what
Aren't you worried that this team would be weak defensively on that whole left side?
No, I think Gabriel, Declan Rice will be fine. And actually, Smith Rowe is a myth that he doesn't defend. His defensive ability is fine for a midfielder.
He doesn't win as many duels as
doesn't matter. It doesn't need to.
Jorginho.
We don't need to. Like the way that he can press and actually quite like he's fine. I honestly don't have a problem defensively with him.
Okay, people, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Who would you guys start in Arsenal's midfield for this upcoming game? Would you start Jorginho? Would you start Havertz? Or would you start Emil Smith Rowe? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that. People are asking for a combined 11. I know you hate combined 11s, but it's fair to say Alisson is the better keeper, the better right.
Well, you do it. You know what mine is. Mine is literally that side of the pitch.
Yeah. The better left back at the better left back out of Joe Gomez and Zinchenko. I would put Zinchenko. Ben White, Trent. You're gonna put Trent. I'm gonna go with Van Dijk and Saliba in defense. The midfield, Declan Rice, Odegaard, and then I would go with McAllister. Declan Rice, Odegaard, and McAllister, or Szoboszlai, whichever one you want. And then the front three would probably be since Salah's not fit, I would go Saka, Jota. Would you go Saka, Jota, and Martinelli? Or Saka, Jota, Darwin Núñez?
Hey, it's your command 11. I don't do this. I told you. I'm not putting anyone in my
team. Based on this season, I would go Saka, Jota, and Darwin Núñez. That would be so that would be my combined 11. But we're gonna get into all of that once the rest of the boys come in. But let's see what you guys have to say. Some people saying Jorginho, some people saying Havertz, some people saying Rice, ESR, Odegaard. I want to know, what midfield three do you guys think we should play? Konate is so much better than Saliba. What do you have to say on this?
Well, firstly, even if you wanted to say Konate is better, he's not so much better. Let's not exaggerate how much better. For me, it's Saliba, just because of the importance that Saliba's played in a team that's going for the title that didn't actually. No one predicted it. No one said that we were going to compete or even challenge for the title for as long as we did. And the main factor to that was Saliba. Now, Konate is a brilliant defender, in my opinion. I'm not saying that he's not good, but I just feel like Saliba's got more to his game than Konate does.
To me, I'm just looking at it as you guys are gonna compare the two young French players, but Konate is older than Saliba. He should be better than him, but he's not. He's not as composed as he is on the ball. He's not. Konate is better physically, and he's better in the air. That's the area where he's better. Everything else in his game, when it comes to control, when it comes to on the ball, when it comes to just all aspects of football on the ball, I would say Saliba is better. The only aspect that I would give Konate the edge is like headed clearances and physically barging players out and using his body. I would say he's better at that aspect. Overall, if you look at it, I would say Saliba is the better player, and he edges it because of his ability on and off the ball. But hey, that is what some people are saying. But we got our first guest in the house. We got Mons in the building. Let's get into it. Mons hasn't been on the channel for a while too, so it's nice to have him on. Everyone give him a good welcome. And of course, the link is in the description of the title of the video to check it out. Mons, Talk to me, bro. I see some Liverpool fans saying that this game is a free hit, that this is not do or die for both teams. It's just do or die for Arsenal. What do you have to say about that?
It's avoiding responsibility, man. This game's a must-win for both teams. I think if Arsenal don't win this game, it's as simple as this. The title race is looking very bleak for them. I think for them to be 8 points behind this Liverpool side with, 14 games to go? 15 games to go. I feel like 8 points is a big gap, and especially when you guys still have to go to the Etihad. You guys still have to go to the Lane. There's definitely games where you lot are going to slip up from now to the end of the season.
So why do you think Liverpool fans are trying to say that this is not an important win for them, or it's not an important game for them?
It's just because we're in a position right now, because people are seeing 5 points clear. They're going, well, we can afford to lose a game. Well, if anyone's actually learned the lesson over the last 5 years, you know that we can't afford to slip up. We can't really afford to draw. For me, I'll be very disappointed with a draw, simply because a draw puts us on the same points as City if they were to win their game in hand. And if you're on the same points as Man City towards the business end of the season, who would you put your money on to finish the season stronger?
City.
There you go.
Because they've done it numerous times. We've learned from last year.
There's no such thing, exactly as Blaze 67 said it. There's no such thing as a free hit. We need to go and get the 3 points.
You said this to me after we drew at Anfield last year. You said to me, "You think a point's good?" You laughed at me.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember you guys telling me we were talking about, is it a good point at Anfield last year away? You're like, you're in a title race. It's never a good point. You have to win.
Yeah, because look what happened after that. You know what I'm saying?
Recapitulating.
And obviously, and to be fair, that Liverpool game, you were still ahead of City at the time when we met at Anfield last year. But my point was that when you draw that game, it means when you go to the Etihad, you don't, like, now you have to win. Like when you play Man City next, now you have to win. If you went and beat us at Anfield last year, if you really want to talk about free hits, then the pressure's actually off you guys against Man City, because it's like, cool, worst case scenario, City can't catch you within that game. That week against City, the title clash, the game for the title, it's no longer the game for the title because they can't catch you, and it's closer to the end of the season. But drawing against Liverpool made the stakes even higher. I think you then drew to West Ham, made the stakes even higher. Played Southampton and drew to them, I believe. I think you drew 3 games in a row, and it kind of led to the slow capitulation. But I feel like that if you don't beat Liverpool at Anfield, that would have been a statement win, and statement wins win leagues.
Are you surprised that your team is this good right now? Because I think the rest of the league are. I genuinely did not think Liverpool were going to be this quick. Like, people kind of disrespect Klopp because he doesn't get enough credit for how quickly your midfield is snapped into a thing and become one of the best midfields already again. Because Arsenal, we've made 2 changes to our midfield, and it's taking us so long. You guys have made 3 changes to your midfield this season, and with Thiago gone, however many you want to mention, talk to me, bro.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, man, what I try to tell you, man, Liverpool are going to be title contenders, because no, I didn't think Liverpool would be title contenders this year. I thought, this year we bed in the new midfield, and my hot take was that Salah would stay, and then we go again next year. Next year, is the one where we go, all right, let's try and get back to that first, second sort of thing. And then you kind of start the season, and the only thing I'm not surprised at is that we were able to put together a run of games, 5 straight wins, 4 straight wins. The reason we were able to do that is because if you look at the back end of last season, I believe it was 8 wins and 2 draws. Last 10 games. So from Van Dijk and Curtis Jones coming back from injury to the end of the season, 8 wins, 1 draw. 8 wins and 2 draws. Now, that is really good form for the back end of the season. I remember we were about 9th. We didn't quite make 4th, but we did manage to get back to 5th and only missed top 4 by about 3 points. So I took that as like, well, you know what? For such a rubbed midfielding team, there's still something there. There's still game winners there. You still got your Trents. You've still got your Salahs. You still got Van Dijk. You still got Alisson. You still got match winners there. So if we could fill the void and still be able to utilize our match winners, then you never know what can happen with this Liverpool team and how we are. And one person that surprised me the most was Curtis Jones. Those last 10 games of last season, the way Curtis was balling out was like, wait, who's this? This ain't Curtis. You Curtis Jones? Who is? I don't know who this was. This is an imposter. I don't know who it was playing. And then start of the season comes and Jones's form continues. You know, Matip finds his form again. Virgil, okay, besides the red card that he got, that again, that should never have been a red card, form continued. So it did shock me that we are where we are, but at the same time, I know that Liverpool are kind of capable of these things. It was just about me and Hassam have ranted and raved about replacing our midfield since 2021. We've been talking about midfield signings, and we actually only got one. Until the last window, we saw one after complaining on Twitter Spaces for 2 years. We saw one midfielder, and he hasn't even played a minute this season. Not 1 minute. Of course, he'll be back, but he hasn't played 1 minute. So, you know, to see the new midfield come in and do what they're doing is great. My only issue is that I don't like when people go, how can you be so confident? Why are you, man, so confident? How dare you say Jurgen Klopp again after? How can you be so confident? Why are you acting like you've never been here before? You know, you're supposed to be here. Well, that's funny. Igal, didn't you just say that no one expected us to be where we are? So how can people say, we're supposed to be here, act right?
They're being disingenuous.
Yeah, because we weren't supposed to be here. We're doing a job. Like, I'm not saying Liverpool have been the most convincing team in the world. I think we've been the most convincing out of an unconvincing bunch. If you want me to be objective about it, but let's keep it a buck. Like, no one thought Liverpool would be here. Not Daps, not Kaz, not you, not Hussam, not me. You know what I'm saying? Not Staffy. You know what I'm saying? Not Gunnarsauls, not Gunali. No one thought we would be here. So I don't want anyone to be looking at me and saying, you know, you're supposed to be here. So act right and have some, you know, and show chest. Brother, don't do that. I looked at almost everyone's predictions for the title. People had us with Manchester United in 3rd and 4th. That's where they really had us. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
Welcome, Hussam, obviously. The conversation started because I'm hearing a lot of do or die in Arsenal spaces. Obviously, it is do or die for Arsenal, but is it kind of a free hit for Liverpool? Because I'm hearing some Liverpool fans saying it's a free hit. Do you believe it's a free hit? Because you were once the guy who told